Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to quickly go through 5 tips on how to lose body fat efficiently, sustainably, and be able to keep it off. So in general, the number one rule on losing weight or gaining weight is whether you're in a calorie surplus or a calorie deficit, which ultimately means gauging energy is going into your body compared to going out. So for a calorie surplus, your calorie intake is more than your calorie output. So you're eating more than you're burning. And for a calorie deficit, you're intaking less than what you are expending. So that's the way that we're gonna push to lose fat, is by making sure we're in a calorie deficit. That is the scientific number one rule, that if you're in a calorie deficit and you sustain eating in a calorie deficit for over a period of time, you will ultimately lose fat. The easiest way to track this is to use an app, so MyFitnessPal, LiveSum, anything like that to track your calorie intake, and a Fitbit or an Apple Watch or an exercise app that you can record your energy output or your exercise you do. So my first tip, as we are looking at increasing how much energy we're expending compared to how much we're eating, my first tip is to make sure you are always thinking of ways to increase your energy output throughout the day. What I would say is to think on your feet, and that isn't in terms of quick thinking, but in terms of legitimately thinking, how can I be on my feet? Can I walk to work instead of using the car? Can I take the stairs instead of the lift? Can I go for a stroll on my break? Just get as much time on your feet as possible, because the more energy that you're expending when you're just doing your day-to-day things increases your neat calories. Neat calories is non-exercise activity thermogenesis. That's all the kind of activity that you do that isn't classed as exercising, whether that's even going to the toilet, doing your cleaning around the house, all of that kind of stuff fits under that term. So increasing the amount of movement you're doing in general increases your NEAT, which in turn will increase your T, which is your total energy expenditure. And yeah, in order to be in a calorie deficit for fat loss, we need to make sure that we're 500 calories in a deficit, so eating 500 calories less than we're expending every day for the whole week. So that's a minus 3,500 calorie deficit, which is roughly losing 1 pound of fat per week, a safe, sustainable way to lose weight. So that can be 500 calories every day. It can also be a few days. If you'd rather have a treat on a few days, then you would cut back on your calories on another few days. So at least getting a minus 3,500 deficit over the entire week. Tip number 2, increase your intensity and or duration of your current exercise or physical activity that you do. Whether that's in the gym, going running, whether that's your sport, whatever you want to do, that you should be doing something if you're trying to lose weight. So increase your intensity and increase your duration, either or. So an increase in your intensity could be a less rest period when you're resistance training. It could be doing higher intensity sprints or HIIT training or anything like that, because with higher intensity you're burning more calories in the same time as you would be doing it at a lower intensity. And also for high intensity, you're burning more calories after you finish exercising. With duration, you're obviously exercising for a longer period, so burning more energy that way. So it's all about trying to increase your calorie output and decrease your calorie input, which goes on to tip number 3. Reduce the high energy dense foods part of your meal and increase more the micronutrient part. So for example, if you're going to have pasta fatigue, what I tend to do is make a small amount of pasta. So we're not cutting out carbs, we're not cutting out certain foods, we're just decreasing the higher calorie part of the meal. So a smaller bowl of pasta, and then increase the amount of sauce, filling it with onions, filling it with mushrooms, filling it with chicken, that kind of high micronutrient content food, which in turn keeps you feeling fuller because they're a volume of food still, but you just decrease the amount of carbs, which are the higher energy cost. Or another example could be if you're having a jacket potato and salad, you would just increase the amount of salad and then just have a small amount of carbs to go with it. So you'll still feel just as full, you're just volumizing the micronutrient part rather than the high calorie part. Tip number 4 is to listen to your body. So what I mean by that is only try and eat when your body feels hungry. So if you're one for grazing and you know that that's a problem that you might think is causing you to not lose weight, then think, do I really need to eat that? If you're like, yeah, I'm hungry, then make yourself a meal instead and cut out the grazing. I find that if I leave it until I'm at the peak of I really am hungry now, and the longer I wait, the more my body gets used to it. The more my body gets, I don't feel the urge to want to graze, I don't feel like I need to eat any extra because my body is used to waiting for food. So my satiety essentially decreases. My 5th and final tip is to rest and recover your body. You don't want to be burning out and pushing yourself right to the limit and injuring yourself. You don't want to be unable to exercise for the rest of the week because you've pushed yourself too much, and you don't want to injure yourself through not having rested and not nourishing your body. And my camera's just died for the 4th and final time, so I'm just going to wrap up by saying that's all I had to say. And if you enjoyed it and have any other questions or topics that I could talk on, leave them in the comments below, and I hope it helped. So like and subscribe if you found it useful. Thanks guys.